Hello everyone and welcome to this week's weekly vlog. So this week's vlog is a little bit of a fishy vlog, so if you're not really interested in fish then it might be worth kind of clicking off and waiting for the next song or video to get uploaded. It was actually surprisingly difficult to get this shot of the fish tank. Like, I'm so not used to like filming things other than myself. So this is, hang on, let me just adjust this, I feel like it's wonky. That's just making it worse. So this is my betta fish, Maligos. He's been in our family now for about 4 months. I'm not actually sure how old he is. I didn't ask when I was at the pet shop, I didn't think to ask, so not sure how old he is. But he's such a sweet little thing, and you know, I never thought that fish could have personalities. I thought they were something that, you know, you could kind of look at and be relaxed watching them, but Mally is such such a funny little thing. He's super responsive. He always comes to me when I put my fingers near the cage. I'll show you, see if he comes over. Here he comes. It's because I've kind of trained him to understand that when I do this he's going to get fed, so now he thinks he's going to get fed, but it's not feeding time for you yet, mister. So the reason that I'm making this vlog is because Maligos, I never realised how difficult it would be to keep a fish. Oh, that's quite a good shot of him there. Let me zoom in a little bit. If you can see his fin on the top, see how ragged it's become? See if I can just zoom in a little bit more here. There we go. So he has developed an issue with his fins, which I believe is fin rot. And it's kind of, I get so worried and flustered when my animals get sick, because I just don't ever want my animal, I don't want any animal to ever be sick in the world ever again. And it's difficult because they can't tell you what they need and what's wrong. But I've been doing a ton of research about fin rot, and apparently it's super common in conditions where the tank isn't ideal. Maybe the water parameters aren't great, or there's, you know, it's dirty. But as you can see, Mally's water is very clear, his tank is clean. I gave it not a clean inside, but I mean I cleaned a couple of things on the top that had gathered some dust, because I've removed his hood. He normally has a hood at the top of the tank here which goes around the top and it stops him from jumping out, but I removed it because I kind of wanted a natural evaporation to be occurring with the water, so that when I do the water changes it's just a bit more, I don't know, convenient. But he's a very, very happy little fish right now, but I am concerned about him because his fin rots. I noticed his dorsal fin, which is the very top fin, I noticed it going white a couple of days ago, maybe 3 days ago. You can see it quite clearly that it's going transparent on the top there. And it didn't look really bad. It kind of looked like maybe he damaged it or like caught the top of his fin. So I wasn't too worried. Plus I've never had a fish before, so I wouldn't know the early signs of fin rot. All of these things that are happening are new to me. And the next day came and it looked worse, and so I did a 20% water change just out of habit, because, you know, if I see something wrong with Mally or something in his tank, that whatever, I do a 20% water change. So I did a 20% water change, and then the next day, which was yesterday, it looked worse still, so I did another 20%. Oh, his poor little fin. And today is day 3 of trying to, you know, remedy his poor little fins. And the plan for today is to do a 50% water change, which is scary. A lot of places are recommending 100%, but I cannot bring myself to do 100% water change, because I would rather call the pet store or a vet and find out if I need to do 100% first. So I'm going to do a 50% water change today. Look at him swimming around. He seems quite happy. A 50% water change today. I'm going to clean around the top of the tank where it's developed a cloudiness. can see there's like a sort of almost like a starchy, it comes off really really easily, so I'm just going to give that a little wipe over and try not to let any of the stuff go into the water. But I've heard that you're actually meant to clean the tank while the water's there, and clean the glass whilst the water's in the tank. So I don't know, I tried to have a little clean of it yesterday and a kind of mist dripped into the water and sort of coiled out, and my heart was in my mouth, and I thought, is that good or is that bad? So I'm going to give it a little clean. It doesn't really need much cleaning, everything looks pretty clean, there's no green on anything, the water's not cloudy or murky. But I am also going to do a gravel vacuum, which I try not to do too often. There's never any food debris left over because he's a greedy little pig and he will eat anything. So I'm going to just vacuum up the gravel just a little bit, maybe half of it, and leave the other half and do that maybe next week. But then once I've done the 50% water change today, I am going to be adding some aquarium salt. I was told not to, but every site I've gone on, every video I've watched, they're talking about adding this aquarium salt, and I have aquarium salt. I've had it since pretty much day one for Mally, because we've been on a rocky road together. When I first got Mally, I had been cycling my tank for 2 weeks, and so I thought the tank was ready, bearing in mind I'm, you know, a new fish keeper, and some people don't even cycle their tanks before they get their fish, but I tried to do as much research as possible. And I thought my tank was cycled, but it turned out that my nitrites hadn't peaked yet. And so when Mally was introduced to the tank, my nitrites were so incredibly high, so dangerously high, and he did such a good job of being resilient through that time. And now my nitrites read 0. And I remember the day that they read 0, and it was like a miracle. It was like Christmas. So the nitrites are fine, the ammonia levels are fine, the pH is, I think, a little bit too high, but it's always been that way. It's been that way since day one with the readings from the pH. So I don't really want to mess around with the pH now, because he's probably built up like a sort of understanding of the pH level he's become maybe slightly resilient to that now as well. So everything reads good. My nitrates, it was very odd actually, I did a nitrate reading yesterday and it didn't turn any colour, so not sure what that means. It stayed cloudy, and the lightest colour it can be is yellow, so I'm not sure why. But I did do a reading prior to that and it was yellow borderline orange, so which isn't too bad. So we just keep an eye on that. But all of his water parameters are good, so I'm just concerned as to why he's developed this fin rot. It is kind of very concerning to me. But I think if I keep up with the water changes, then it will be okay. But I was kind of nervous about doing this vlog as well, because when it comes to little animals like this, you know, they're so delicate, and I don't want anything to happen to him, but I'm scared that I'll look back on this vlog and think, oh my god, I wish I could have helped him. Do you know what I mean? I feel kind of worried that his fin rot, let's zoom in here so we can get another look at his fins. It just looks, I mean, look how frayed it is at the top there. Why? Poor little guy. Look at his stupid mouth. See, I really am very attached to him. And I'll tell you what, he scared the hell out of me the other day. I came back from, I went out for a curry, and I came home and his light was switched off. I always put his blue light on at night, which I'll show you what his blue light looks like. Might not show up on the camera. I've actually got, yeah, you can't really see it. So I've put his blue light on, which he much prefers, but he kind of associates that with his nighttime. So this is his bright light. I never put this on. He hates it. So I'm only putting it on just briefly whilst I do this vlog. But it makes him really angry. But so the other night I came home, and I normally leave the blue light on when I'm, you know, when it gets to evening time, to get him ready to know that the light's going to be going off completely soon. And Ian turned it off before we left, and when I came home he'd got into, I thought he was dead. He was on the bottom of the tank, unmoving, wasn't responsive at all for like 10 minutes. He was just on the bottom of his tank, fins all folded over, and I was so afraid. And I tapped lightly on the side of the tank and there was no response. all of a sudden he gets up, starts swimming around absolutely fine. This little guy can sleep through an apocalypse. He is so funny when he sleeps. He's got some stupid sleeping habits. He sleeps in that little rock there that you can see. I think he feels quite protected in there. And sometimes he sleeps in all that green stuff, which is a fake silk plant. It's very gentle. And sometimes he leans against his little ruins there, his little castle. But yeah, he's a funny little guy. He always comes over to me, he's so cute. I wake up in the morning, he's literally just there staring at me with his fins going as if to say, can you wake up and feed me? I'm hungry.